Welcome to Veteran Resource Podcast, where you will meet nonprofit organizations focused on improving the lives of veterans and their family members. Here is your host, Jeremy Paris.
Welcome to the VAP family of podcasts.
Welcome, everybody, to episode 44 of the Veteran Resource Podcast. I'm your host, Jeremy Paris. For those that don't know, this podcast is produced by the Veteran Artist Program, also known as VAP. There are expenses that go along with creating this podcast and hosting all of the audio files and marketing and editing, etc. And VAP is footing the bill. So if you enjoy this podcast, I invite you to go to veteranartistprogram.org, and down at the bottom of the page, you're going to see a donate button. Go ahead and donate what you can. And not only are your donations tax deductible, but they go a long way in helping out this podcast and many of the other projects that VAP has going on at any given time. You are also welcome to join the VAP community, and you can do that at veteranartistprogram.org/community. We have over 600 veteran artists of all types interacting and collaborating on a daily basis there. Okay, on today's show, we have Nancy&rsquo from Blue Star Ranch. In 1985, Nancy was certified by Happy Horsemanship for the Handicap as a certified administrator, instructor, and clinician. In 1986, she opened up Heads Up Therapy with Horses for disabled children and adults. While being founder and executive director of Heads Up, she served as set advisor for North American Riding for the Handicap Association, now known as PATH, in the production of a video with President and Mrs. Reagan for therapy on horseback. She also served as the volunteer training director for the newly forming California Network of Equestrian Therapy. She is a certified direct support professional for California and most recently finished her Army One Source training, PTSD Then and Now. On the more creative side, Nancy has served as a Western music DJ host, KHTS Radio, Santa Clarita, California. The show Around the Barn featured guests for discussion on topics related to horses, therapy, and achievements of the disabled population, and interviews with celebrity Western music artists from all over the country. Around the Barn was nominated for Best Radio Show of years 2011, 12, and 13 by the Western Music Association. On a final note, she has become a story coloring book author for a true story series called Dusty and Friends, an educational coloring book. The stories come from the 27-year operation of Heads Up Therapeutic Riding Center for special needs children. All right, let's jump right into the interview. Nancy, welcome to the Veteran Resource Podcast. How are you doing today?
Hi, Jeremy. Thank you. Glad to be here.
Excellent. The very first thing I want to find out from you is just kind of a quick overview of what Blue Star Ranch is.
Well, Blue Star Ranch is kind of the last stop on a long journey. I was born and raised in Chicago, born a horse kid in the city, so you can imagine that was not easy to overcome. And had to move to California to do it. But my love of horses and helping others, and I started originally with helping disabled children. Did that for 27 years, and that was really awesome. And now we have another place who can accommodate that. So my husband and I have started Blue Star Ranch for veterans. My husband's a Vietnam veteran from upstate New York originally. And so we're very attuned to the need for help for post-traumatic stress disorder, people suffering from that and from depression and other mental health issues, due to going off to deployment.
Right.
And not being able to fit in when you get back, because nobody has anything available. The VA doesn't have anything available, or the military, the government, to transition people back. I mean, they do everything they need to do to transition them up to go do the job, but then, they're kind of abandoned after that.
Absolutely.
They do everything they can. I mean, they try to do their best, but, we're behind the 8 ball there.
Right. There's a lot more that needs to be done, a lot more that could be done. I think that it's a big problem that everybody is facing on how exactly the transition should be handled, and hopefully they will get that figured out sooner than later.
They are working on it. They are becoming more open-minded to kind of work that we're doing. and the results that we're getting, because traditionally, so far, most veterans do not fare well in the VA system under mental health. They just don't fit in. They don't want to be in a hospital setting. Locking them up in a room with a therapist is not a good scenario for them. They're usually out of the system before, anything can get accomplished. So working outside with horses, and we have a team of 3 people that work with the veteran. We have a mental health specialist, an equine specialist, who's the translator for the horse, and also, for the horse to the client. And then we have the horse himself. And this is the team, and it takes this team effort in order to make things happen. And the reason it happens is because the horse has the ability to mirror your emotions. Horse is the one who helps us get those emotions out, gets those emotions up to talk about, gets those things going so that we can help them with solutions and teach them solutions.
It's very interesting. And I do have more that I want to dive into specifically on that. Before we do, though, I wanted to dive in a little bit on your background. So you mentioned that you grew up in Chicago.
Right.
And did you have horses at an early age?
From the time I was born, I was horsey, horsey, pony, pony. My first pony I got when I was, about 18 months old, my second Christmas, and he was a rocking horse named Tony. The next horse I got on was when I was 5, when I begged my dad for my birthday what I wanted. I wanted to get on a horse. I wanted a horse. I wanted a horse. So he found a stable somewhere and took me, and I rode a big old paint, and his name was Chief. And that was it. I was in love forever, and it's never gone away. So my career kind of went a crazy way. I wound up in California working for Lockheed, actually.
Oh, wow.
In the motion picture and TV department for Lockheed. And along that time is when I got my own first horse. I went through a bad time in my life at that point. And I said, well, the heck with this. I'm getting a horse. I'm getting my horse, and the heck with the rest of the world, So that's what I did. And what happened because of her was I started to heal. I started to get healed. And I realized the power. I was always an animal person, had dogs and cats and such, but the horse is just really a special individual. And they have abilities that, most of us are just not even 1/10 of 100% aware of, So I, had my horse, was riding that, and I decided, I looked back when I was a child, and there were certain childhood traumas that I had, and I thought, if Dusty can do this for me, what could she do for other kids who have maybe some kinds of problems? And I thought, well, maybe disabled kids, blind kids, deaf kids. I worked at Lockheed with some deaf people in the graphics department we had, and I had made friends with them, and they taught me a little sign language, and we used to have some good times. And I thought, well, why not deaf kids? So I started looking through the school system and putting out flyers, for children with needs. And 2 families came forward and gave me their kids and trusted me with them. And off we went. And that was the start of everything.
Oh, wow.
And that just built bigger and bigger and bigger. Till 27 years later, I thought we thought we kind of were going to retire from that. And then this came up, and I thought, it just kind of re-inflamed me, re-sparked me all over again. And so now we're working with the veterans, and it's very rewarding for me.
And how did that transition come where you went from helping disabled children to helping veterans?
Well, it came when we're located in Santa Clarita, California. That's about 40 miles north of Burbank. And we have a wonderful city here. And we have good horse country here, which is another prerequisite for me. And we were building Habitat for Humanity came into our valley, and it has built and is still in the process of building homes for our veterans. So there's about 100 homes being built. The first 20 families, I think, have moved in now. But at the time they were starting that project, one of the people on that, helping out with that project knew of me. And so she came to me. She's a radio station owner out here. And her son is also military. And said, Nancy, can you do something for the veterans with, the horse therapy thing? And I said, yeah, absolutely, And so that kind of sparked us, and we went, okay, yeah, we're going to do it. So in 2014, we formed the nonprofit, which, takes you about 10 to 12 months to do that. And then last year we spent, getting our site ready and getting everything together, and we just graduated our first veteran.
Oh, wow. That's great. And so part does the horse play in the therapy for these veterans?
The horse is a miracle worker. What the mental health specialist and the equine specialist, the mental health specialist will lay out, we work in a round pen. That's about a 60-foot diameter pen. And what we do is the three of us are in there, the horse, me and the mental health specialist, four of us with the client. Mm-hmm. And the veteran is asked to, we have props in the arena, like, chairs and poles and things. And there's a lot of different exercises that will come up and say, well, lay out your sleeping quarters right now, or your area, where you sleep, or lay out, your house, or there's all different ways in to produce a puzzle for him. We produce a puzzle in there, and he puts it together, and as we go through the exercise and through the puzzle, the horse is there with him, the horse interacts, and the horse will reflect his emotions. If you approach a horse with malcontent in your heart, the horse will go away from you. You don't want no part of you. You have to learn how to open your heart before a horse will make friends with you. You have to learn how to let down your angry defenses. You have to learn how to do body language, and you have to learn a lot about just hands-on. So the miracle is the minute we get the person's hands on the horse for the first time, and we start talking to them, and I'll tell them to, just close your eyes and feel this animal. Feel his power in his muscles. Just lay your hands on his shoulder. Just feel him. Close your eyes. And that's where we start. And once we get them bonded somewhat, then we start all those exercises, and they will bring to the surface things. And we'll say, okay, what did you lay out? Or we'll ask them a question, and we'll lay something out, and we'll have them go through the exercise and say, now, what did you feel while you were doing that or thinking about that? They'll give us feedback. Well, the great part is the horse will reveal his feedback if he doesn't want to give it to us. So then we dig a little deeper. This is very difficult to explain. I hope you understand. You're
doing a good job so far.
Okay. Then we dig a little deeper. We'll put him through another kind of an exercise or whatever. And what happens is the horse, if he's upset, or if a client is upset or whatever, sometimes the horse will race around the arena out of control, just kind of race around going like, you're making me crazy, And they'll realize that it's their energy that's doing that, because the horse is saying, you're a mess,
Yeah.
And you need to focus on you, So that's kind of how it goes. And it goes anywhere from, everybody's different. We set goals for like 8 sessions to graduate. Sometimes it will take a little more, and then we will do an evaluation at the end and say we think they would benefit more from 2 more sessions, and we'll assign 2 more sessions or whatever. And so Manny has graduated with 10 sessions, and he's now on his way up. Included in those sessions, we work with his wife in 2 sessions and him.
Oh, great.
And to improve their communications and how, to understand each other better and understand, each other from where each other is coming from better. The battle of the sexes gets involved in there always too. And then the children, because the children are affected too by this person who, was their dad or their mom, and they went and they were deployed, and they come back and they're a totally different person.
Right.
And kids don't know what to do. They don't know how to approach them. They don't know how to, and then they're carrying this anger and stuff with them. And the children feel that, just like the horse. Children are sensitive to all these vibes too. And then they get caught in the middle, and they can't express themselves except to cry or whatever. And the parent, he doesn't realize, well, why are they always crying, or why do they do this, So then we worked with the whole family in this case. If they are married and do have children, we will generally, in all cases, bring the family into the sessions.
Oh, that's great. That's great. And I definitely understand what you were saying with the horse reflecting what it is that you're feeling. I owned 2 quarter horses myself before, and there was times where I went there, and when I got these horses with my wife at the time, we knew nothing about horses. I mean, I've ridden them before, but I didn't know anything about taking care of them. And luckily we were at a farm where they were showing us, here's what it is you're supposed to be doing. But I would go there sometimes and things were kind of rocky at home, and I would go there sometimes angry. And you are absolutely right. That horse wanted nothing to do with me. And I couldn't understand why the horse was, wasn't coming near me. And other days the horse would run over.
Yeah.
And definitely feeling what I was feeling.
Yeah, absolutely. It's pretty amazing. If we could just all learn horse, it'd be a lot better for everybody.
Right. So with your programs, who is eligible to benefit from them?
Any veteran who has served in the military, whether they went to, combat zones or not in particular, that are suffering from PTSD and depression and that, because it's not only the combat zone itself, but all the peripheral support systems around them that are affected too. And they can show us their discharge papers, and they come and they ask for help, they will get it. And we give the sessions are free to them. That's why we're always looking for money, because we provide the sessions free. There's no charge to the veterans or their families at all.
Wow, that's great. And that answers one of my questions that I was about to ask you, was what the costs were. That could be pretty expensive on your side, for sure.
Yes, absolutely. And with a number of horses to take care of, what those costs run into.
Yeah. Nancy, can you walk me through a typical scenario? Let's say that one of the listeners right now is listening to what we're saying, and they say, yes, this is absolutely what I need. When they first come to you, what can they expect is going to be what they experience?
Okay. What we do is we're located in Southern California first, so that they know, they have to be out among our location just to get to us.
Okay.
Because we like to do, they come like once a week for 8-10 weeks, whatever it takes. Okay, so, and I said, we're about 40 miles north of Burbank. And what we do first is sometimes, like our local VAs here will bring clients to introduce them, and we do what we call a meet and greet. And so the mental health specialist is there, equine specialist is there. Sometimes a counselor from the VA center will, come out the first time with the veteran, just to keep them comfortable and feeling safe, and, that they're not alone and they're not, going up against something they don't know anything about.
Right.
So they come for a meet and greet. We have the coffee pot on. We sit down and we greet them, and the dogs greet them, and and we talk a little, and we, get a feeling for them or what they've been going through. And then the first thing what we do is we go out and we meet a horse. Now, I'll give you a funny example of our recent graduate, Manny. First, he came out with a VA counselor, and she brought him out for the meet and greet, because this was going to be the test, is whether he was going to think he would continue with this and try this or not. You can't force somebody, because that's not going to help them,
Right.
So we want them to feel comfortable and let them know that, we're here for them, and that, so that they can feel comfortable. And the ranch is designed like a home base. We have a flagpole. Everything is designed like a home base. We have our own little canteen, It's home away from home. It's, where they can feel comfortable, relax, where they can talk to other veterans, hang out, whatever. So the first thing we do then is we take them out to meet a horse. Well, the minute when Manny got out of his car that first meet and greet day, the first words out of his mouth were, "If I have to get on a horse, I'm leaving."
Wow.
And I went, "Oh, joy." Well, but I was able to reassure him, see, getting on a horse is not part of the treatment process. It has nothing to do with getting on a horse. If you put someone on a horse that doesn't know how to ride or whatever, then you have to give instructions on how to do that. And their focus has to be on that.
It could get frustrating too when you're first starting.
On the ground, the horse is a team member. He's a friend. He's a buddy. He's part of the team. So the focus is all on the veteran, not on the horse. Okay. So we work on the ground. They are not required ever to get on a horse. So we introduced him to Jack. We have a Appaloosa gelding, and his name is Captain Jack Sparrow.
Beautiful.
And that's his true name. He's registered with that name.
Does he walk like that?
No, he doesn't, thank you. But he's a dear. He's a real doll. And so we picked Jack for this particular veteran because of Jack's nature and the way he is. Because we match the horses and the veterans to things that are suited that we're going to be working with. And within an hour, I had Manny touching the horse, then he was hugging the horse, and then he led the horse around the arena. I took his hand, I put the halter lead rope in his hand on the other side. I said, come on, let's go for a walk. He just went with me, and I said, just ignore the horse, he'll come with us. So we just went to walk, and we talked a little bit, and he was just his muscles, his body language started to come down, started to relax a little. He was very, uptight when he got out of the car.
Yeah.
So we started breathing with him and just doing little simple things of just, pet the horse, get to know the horse. This is what the horse knows, And by the time we finished, we went back to have a little more coffee. And his wife, by the way, had come with him also. And because she wanted to see what the deal was, of course. And so we asked him, he says, well, what do you think? Do you think you'd like to come here, for a few weeks and work with us and see what happens? And he thought about it for a minute and he said, yes, I really would. And he said, if you had told me a few weeks ago, if anybody had walked up to me and told me that I would be touching a horse, I would have called him crazy. And I says, well, you're not crazy, but now you're a horseman. Now you will understand horses.
Wow.
Because they understand us. And he's going to help you with your healing process. And everything, we did like 3 or 4 weeks of sessions, and he was doing very well. He was making great progress. And then we had a shooting out, the San Bernardino shooting out here, the terrorist attack.
Right.
And that week, and unfortunately, this veteran had some relatives in that area, and he broke down. He had a little bit of problems with that when that happened, and he emailed me that he couldn't come out to the session because he was so upset and, so on and so forth. And so I counseled him, and we made it to the point, I'll be there. I'll be there Wednesday. I'll be there. And he did, and he was. And now he is 10 weeks past and graduated. So they're going to, during the sessions, somewhere during the sessions, there's going to be something. That's a very dramatic one that happened, unfortunately, to him, right? When he was in the middle of everything. But, he conquered it. He's conquered it all. He can, he sleeps better at night now. He didn't sleep when we first met him. Very, couldn't sleep, nightmares, all of these things. If a firecracker goes off, a gunshot goes, anything, they are on high alert. Going to a supermarket, even in a crowded supermarket, they can't take it. They can't handle it because crowds equal danger. Gunshots equal danger. And they've been trained. They've been so trained. From their brain all the way down through every muscle in their body, as to how to react to all these things, that they can't react normally anymore. So these are things that we're helping them overcome and giving them new tools to work with so that they can learn how to overcome and control it. That doesn't mean it will ever be 100% gone. But what it means is they are now functional. They can, manage with their families again. They can communicate with their wives. They can sleep at night. They can have hope again. And that was Manny's thing. He says when he came to us, he was out of hope. He had been through every program the VA had that they are, trying to help PTSD with, and none of it worked. Mm-hmm. So we are just delighted that, he's graduated and he's doing so great. He just makes us happy every day.
Let me ask you this, Nancy. Did Manny ever end up getting on the horse?
No. Nope. And when we first met Manny, his opinion of a horse was hamburger and hot dogs. He says, what did you think about the horse? This was after, of course, we did all this. He says, what did you think about the horse when you first met him? Well, I saw hamburgers and hot dogs. That's all I knew. And he had ridden a horse once in Griffith Park with some Marine friends or whatever, so you can imagine how that went. And that's kind of the basis of his, not wanting to get on. But I predict the day will come that Manny will get on. Yeah.
That'll be great. I think it'll be good for him.
It will. It will be a very symbolic thing for him also. And I don't care if he rides him or not, just to get on and sit on him and get off says it all.
Yep. Nancy, do you have any special events over at your ranch?
Right now we have something coming up at the end of February. But it's basically a wine and cheese press party that we're putting on for our community here, because the press is there and so on and so forth, to get to launch us into the community's eye on a bigger scale. Because right now we've just been getting all our ducks lined up and everything and doing projects. So that will be February 25th. And then as far as projects, we don't do like events at the ranch, or like, you mean like fundraising events? Or,
right.
Yeah.
Or sometimes like some of the ranches that I've been to before, they do like, different ranch days or parties or things where they invite people who aren't normally horse people to come out and check out what they're doing.
Yeah. Our horse community is pretty aware, and now after the end of this month with the press party, we should hopefully have, everybody in our community at least should know the words Blue Star Ranch. We've been in magazines, the newspaper, and things like that. But we don't do like fundraising days at the ranch and all that. We do all kinds of, we do fundraising. I don't mean we don't fundraise, we do. And we have a GoFundMe account, but we do grants, donations, online. We do fundraising from our community, sponsors, things like that. You can adopt a horse, not adopt a horse, but you could sponsor a horse, if that's something somebody'd like to do, and put a plaque on their store.
Oh, great.
So we do those kinds of things. So we don't do an all-out fundraiser. We invite people that get interested. If they're interested, they will usually call us and we'll invite them to the ranch to spend the day with us, to come out and see our operation, see our ranch, see what we do. And then if they're interested in helping the veterans or whatever, they want to get involved, then we tell them what they can do to help us.
So, Nancy, what plans do you have for the future of Blue Star Ranch?
Well, I'd like to see it grow. I'd like to see that we have one in every state to start with, because even though California has California and New Mexico have the highest count of veterans, combat veterans, since 9/11. Mm-hmm. So we have a great need here, really great need, but it's needed all over the country. I'm hoping that with our work we're working with Disabled Veterans National Foundation. They've started, giving us some funds, and I'll be, writing some more grants and stuff for funding. And our hope is to get us working up to full capacity, and then being able to expand, of course, which by expanding we can do easily, even at our own site, because expansion will simply take being able to raise a little more money for a few more mental health specialists to work with us, so they can each be doing a class, or a session during the same time period. Right now we have one arena, to work in, one round pen. If I would increase that to 2 or 3 round pens, so that each team, specialist team would have one to work in, and then they can each, work with the veterans. So 3 veterans or more could be working at one time through therapy. So that's my first goal.
Great. That would be great. And I mean, the areas where you said that there's the most veterans, there's also a lot of horses in those areas, right?
Yeah, Southern California is pretty good. Well, all of California is pretty good. It's kind of traditional, horses are in our blood. Of course, our city has grown from just total horse community to this humongous city. And the horse people, though, we have fought like heck to keep the horse community here, because we know how valuable it is and how valuable it is to kids. And even if you can just send your kids through one summer camp for horseback, summer camp or whatever, do it.
Absolutely.
They will benefit so much. You just cannot believe how much they will benefit. And, basically, I lost my train of thought there.
My daughter grew up around our horses, and she was barely old enough to walk, and I was scared to death that the horse was going to step on her, but the horse, completely understood, this is a baby, I'm going to treat it good. And my daughter used to hold on to the stirrups or the bridle, and the horse would just lift his head up and lift her off of the ground. Yep. But he would do it so slowly, and she would just giggle when he was doing it.
It's amazing. See, the kids aren't all blocked up like the rest of us.
Right.
Now, once you grow up to a certain age, you're kind of all this stuff, that abilities you had when you were a kid get kind of buried. But kids have this ability just like the animals. They can communicate, and they communicate with the animals well. And like I say, I was a dog person. I wanted a horse. When I was a kid, I had a really highly shocking experience as a child. And I remember grabbing my dog and locking myself in the bathroom and, crying and that. And if it wasn't for my dog, I don't think I would have made it through that. So animals are wonderful anchors to have too. They give you everything, and they give it to you with absolutely no conditions. They give you unconditional love, and you can never buy that kind of love, believe me. It doesn't exist except with them.
Yeah.
So they're very in tune to children and to that's why they're so perfect for this work. They're so perfect for reading emotions. And children are so beautiful and so pure, The horse recognizes that instantly. This little creature would never harm me. This little creature will never hurt me or try to hurt me.
Right. Even when they're doing something like pulling on their mane, they know, this isn't malicious.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, I'm glad your daughter had that opportunity.
Yeah, she loves horses now. I'm pretty sure she's going to be around horses for her whole life, too.
Well, if you have, like I say, I was born with manure in my veins. If you're born like that, you don't have a choice.
So, Nancy, is there anything that we haven't covered about Blue Star Ranch yet?
Yeah, we need money.
All right.
We always need money. Like I say, the thing is, our service and that are free. But of course, we have to feed the animals and maintain the ranch and, put gas in the tractor and all of these things. And staff has to be paid. So we are always looking for funds. So we encourage people to donate. They can donate any time of year, at any time, 24 hours a day at our website. They can even donate online at our website. Or our website can also give them, if they want to mail a check, they can do that too. If they do it online, they get instantaneous receipt, for their donation.
Right.
But if you mail a check in, you will also get a receipt mailed back to you for your donation. We are tax deductible. We're a 501c3 nonprofit. So I just would like everybody to spread the word. I don't care if it's $10, $20, whatever, it all adds up. And together, with that support, we can do it. We can make it happen.
Yeah, a lot of people will definitely be getting the help that they need.
Exactly. And, with other help for them, like I say, the VA, there's nothing, let's just say that we cracked a code for the Veterans Administration. And they are now, because of that, they are now looking at alternative things. So they are starting to think of, and even some of the grantors, just this week, are starting to open their minds and say, look, we can't accomplish this either under the healthcare system, but they can do it over here. So if we grant them money, if we fund them money, if it's a healthcare, say like Kaiser or, some healthcare, Blue Cross, whatever, I don't know, whatever it is. But some of those foundations, they have grants. So I writing grants to all of them too. So if they have veterans under their healthcare system, and now hopefully the VA will be in the future, we hope, funding the veterans, in other words, if they can't get a timely appointment at the VA office or, scheduled for what they need in that, they will be allowed to go to a private doctor or whatever. So we're hoping some kind of voucher system will go into being, for them to do that.
Yeah, that'll be great.
But we're the only ones now, what we do is the only thing available that has shown a track record of helping veterans with PTSD, that they improve. Nothing else has done that yet. No other therapy available has done that yet. So that's why we're so excited about it too.
And do you also take volunteers over there to help out?
Yes, we do use volunteers. We don't use a lot of them because they have to pass some high standards.
Right.
And I prefer that they have, horse experience, some horse experience. But yes, we do accept them. Or if it's a student, say in college, who's studying, mental health, or they're studying some field like that relates, we're more than happy for them to come out and to provide an area for them for their studies too.
Oh, great. And I know that there are a lot of other nonprofit organizations that are in your area, ones that I've talked to in previous episodes. They might be a good fit for doing some kind of collaboration with you.
Oh.
Might have to look into seeing, where you guys could benefit each other, helping out the veteran.
Definitely. Please feel free to give them my number or whatever, or, and they're welcome to come out and visit and chat, and no problem.
Yeah, we'll see if we could do some matchmaking there.
Yeah, good. I like the way you think, Jeremy.
Anything to help the veteran.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Well, we owe them everything. We can never repay them. But the least we can do is help them have a satisfying rest of their lives.
Yep. All right, Nancy, I think we are ready for the final 3.
Okay.
All right, question number 1. Who would you like to hear on a future episode of the Veteran Resource Podcast?
I'd like you to invite my recent graduate Manny Perdomo, who's the one we've been talking about. And he's very articulate, and I think, he can give a much better rendering of his experiences with us than I can.
Yeah, that'd be great.
From his point of view. And I would love for him to do that, because he's the one who's experienced it. He's the one who's gone through it. He's the one who can talk straight to the veterans in their language, and hopefully he will be able to, help point them in the right direction.
Excellent. After we get done here, I'll talk to you offline and see if we can make something happen.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Okay, question number 2. What upcoming project has you fired up right now?
Well, right now it's the end of the month, the press party. We're very excited about it because we've done some fabulous videos that we're going to present there. And I did the first video, my husband and I did, and we did it because we wanted to do a question and answer period with Manny, but we didn't want to put him under a lot of stress. They're too much stress. So we did it on video, and it came out wonderful. And he answered a lot of, I asked the questions because I wanted to answer key questions, Mm-hmm. And then while we were, working on that, he asked me if he could do a little slideshow video thing. And I said, yeah, absolutely. I'll help you. What do you want to do? And he says, oh, I just want to kind of let everybody know how I feel inside. I said, okay. I didn't know what his concept was at that moment or that. I just said, do it, whatever, do it,
Yeah.
And help you and whatever. And so he did, and we worked on it. He just finished it now. And it's awesome. It's set all to music. There's no verbal words. It's very, very moving. And if you can watch it and not have a tear come to your eye, then, you're not a human being.
Wow. Is this on your website also?
No, it will be.
Okay.
After February 25th, they will be. Yes.
Oh, great.
And so we're going to be presenting both those videos that night. And then after the videos, we're going to have Manny up for a Q&A so that, people can ask him any other questions they might have.
Oh, that's excellent.
So we're preparing him for that.
So good that he's giving back and helping the cause.
He is so excited. During one of his sessions, actually, it kind of it came up. And I remember one of his things he said was, I would so like to be able to help other veterans like you helped me. And I said, well, you are, because now that he's graduated, he has become a team member, and he goes to the VA offices and he's taking brochures, and he will be delivering these videos so that they can show and tell right there at the VA centers and that, to try to make it easier for the veterans to understand what it is that we do. Like I say, it's not easy to explain.
Right. You would be hard-pressed to find a better ambassador than somebody who has been helped by the program.
Yes, absolutely. And I'm also just delighted because he is so excited, because he hasn't been excited about anything himself or felt fulfilling until now. And so that's, I know he's the right person for the job.
That's great. All right, Nancy, final question, the brain stretcher. If you woke up tomorrow and you found out that somebody made an anonymous donation of $10 million to your organization, what would you do with it?
First, I would either purchase the ranch we're on right now or get another one. But I like the one we're on right now. But purchase it so that in the future, when I'm no longer here in that and the team is working, none of that is hanging over their head anymore. Because running a nonprofit, it's like running a business. It has to be run like a business, unfortunately. So that would take a worry off of my heart that, it will be there forever as long as it's needed. The second thing would be then after that to, or open a second location, expand our services to more people at a time, with hiring more mental health specialists and trained teams that can do that. And then the rest of it, I would try to do the same thing and deliver and create a Blue Star Ranch in every state.
Great. That would be fantastic. Just follow the path that you've already laid.
Exactly. And, be able to get it out there and get it working everywhere so that every state has one, so that hopefully every veteran who needs it can at least get to one.
Well, for the listener out there who's got the extra $10 million laying around, you just heard what Nancy could do with it.
Yeah.
And I think it would be fantastic. So one more time, Nancy, for that person or for anybody else who wants to donate to your organization, the best method
is to go straight to our website, which of course is www.bluestarranch, all lowercase, one word, .org, O-R-G. And you'll just click at the tab at the top that says donation page, donations, and go to that page and you can donate straight to us right online. It'll say donate now, just click the button.
Excellent. And like I said, I will make sure that I put a link to that in the show notes, make it super easy for people to get to.
Awesome. And if they can't donate, that's okay too. Please just go and look at the website and learn about it and spread the word that there's hope.
Great advice. Great advice. Nancy, thank you so much for being on the show today. I learned so much about Blue Star Ranch.
Oh, it's my pleasure. And having someone to talk to who even had horses, I mean, that was a plus.
All right, Nancy, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for listening to episode 44. Please go over to check out the show notes at veteranpodcast.com/044, and you can find all of the links that you need to get over to Blue Star Ranch and get plugged in with what they're doing over there. I love getting messages on Twitter, so if you are not following me yet, I'm at ParisJ13 on Twitter, and feel free to shoot me over a message and say hi. Okay, that's all I got for you on this episode. We will see you next week for episode 45.